Hey everybody, this is Georgiana. Welcome back to Expressions Craft Studio. I decided it was time, as much as I didn't want to do it, to clean up my craft room. And this little bin was full of scraps. It's just a little cheap bin from one of the dollar stores. I don't know which one. But it was pretty full. I mean, it was 3/4 full. I managed to sort most of it out. And while I was doing that, I found another bin. Now this one isn't nearly as full. It's maybe a fifth, a fourth. It's not nearly as full, but it's more scraps, and I'm really trying to condense everything and get it into one location. So I'm going to sort through this bin. I know nobody really wants to see this, but I'm doing it, so I thought I'd record it and I'm show you what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to get rid of. Somebody may find it useful. What's left in this bin is stuff I want to work with. Now this is a star. I took a class on this, free class I'm pretty sure, on Facebook about paper folding to make these stars, and this was just my first one. It's the only one I've made so far, and it was scrap Christmassy paper that I had, and it's just regular scrapbook paper. It's not cardstock. I think with all the folding, cardstock would probably kind of fray at the folds, but I tried to recreate this just to see if I could remember how to do it. It was over 2 years ago that I did. In fact, it was almost 3. And so I made a few templates, and it's like, okay. So I wanted to make smaller ones. Well, these are actually, each point of this star is actually a 2x2 square. So I thought, well, what if I do it 1.5 by 1.5? And it would be smaller. Well, it is smaller, but it's also, the smaller it gets, the more incredibly hard it is to fold. So I may not be revisiting this project, but I hung on to it just in case. This was a couple samples of a wedding card. Let me move this for a second. That I made for someone who got married back in April. And these are printed on pearlescent cardstock, and it's a combination of various digital images that I've purchased, and it was a round easel card, and it came out really nice. I don't think I saved a picture of it, but I had some left over because I wasn't sure about the sizing exactly and which die I wanted to use, so I had a couple pieces of that left over, and I left them in here because I am going to try to finish up my scraps, or at least some of my scraps. I've got a whole wall of scrap strips over there that I need to do something with, but that'll be a different day. Anyway, I am going to turn these into cards. Now, whether they'll be wedding cards or maybe quinceañera cards or prom, I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave the sentiment off until somebody needs it. Sorry about the glare, it's bad. But I am going to keep those. Now, these were the sayings that went with it because they had it was kind of a vague reference to Lord of the Rings. And so their sentiment was 2 rings to bring them all, and in this marriage bind them. And so that was what was on their card. And I've got 2 of these left, and they're different sizes. I hated to throw them away. It's on a nice pearl paper. They may come in handy someday. Then there's this little red scrap that came from the last project, and for some reason it didn't end up with my other red scraps, probably because it's already cut out and has a nice deckled edge with some stitching, which you can't really see. This was just a little piece of leftover cardstock, and I thought it might make a cute card. I do need to even out the edges a little bit, but it will be a small one because it's only, what is it, 3.5 by 3.5, but I thought it might make a cute note card or thank you card or something, so I hung on to it. If nothing else, I can always cut it up with my dies and make something with it. Would make nice flowers, if nothing else. Now, this was just a piece of my leftover paper from the Christmas wrapping paper, and there's not anything really descriptive on there, but I saved it just because it's a big enough piece that it might come in handy someday. I don't know. This was also left over from a previous project, and it's just a nice frame. Maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't, I don't know, but I couldn't bear to part with it as I'm picking off this little edge of paper here. And now here was a bigger scrap of that red, and it's This one's much bigger. It's like a 5 by 7. Yeah, it's just under 5, like a 16th under. Let's see, 7 would be, yeah, same with the 7. It's just like a 16th under. But I thought I could put like a lace border on it or something to kind of bring it out. I don't know, but I'm going to try and use that up here in the next couple of days just to get rid of it. I'm determined to clean this bin out, so I figured I'd make something with these. This might make a nice Christmas thank you card, I don't know. But anyway, so I've got some samples here, and then I've got those left over. And then this was just a thick piece of, I believe this is the packaging that comes in some kind of craft product, because it's slick on one side and not on the other, and looks like I've maybe have run it through my embossing machine as an extra layer just to get a little bit more pressure, but it's still in good shape on the front, and I thought maybe I'd just turn this into a tag of some kind, so I kept that. So that's what's left in the bin that I cleaned out yesterday. And then I discovered this other bin along with this little envelope here. So I think I'll sort the envelope first because it's quite a bit smaller, and then I can empty out this envelope. Okay, so we'll set that off to the side. So I've got some pearl cardstock. This is a really small piece, but it might make a couple nice little flowers out of it. So I will hang on to it just because I've hung on to it this long. This is just white cardstock. I don't know why I hung on to this. I've got so much of this now. I'm going to toss this piece. I don't see any reason to keep it. You know, let me rearrange a little bit here. All right. I can get a sentiment out of that, so I will hang on to that. But this is the pearl and this is the white, so I'm going to separate those. Again, I could get a butterfly or a flower. This is the pearl. Looks like I've got a lot of little pieces of the pearl. And it's, you know, a thicker and heavier and more expensive cardstock, so I will hang on to it. This, I'm not going to hang on to that. Well, I could get some strips out of this, but it's really thin. I have so much of it already. If I'm going to toss this, I should toss that, so I'll just set it over here for now. This is glitter cardstock, so I'm going to set it right here at the top. And then I've got the black. Just another little piece of cardstock. What is this? Same with that. I'm going to get rid of those. The glitter, I might get butterflies out of those, or even little flowers. It's hard to say. Depends on what tool I'm using. So I will hang on to that. Here's another piece of the pearl. Got a little smudge on that. Oh, it came off. Another tiny piece of the pearl. Pearl and just plain cardstock, so that's going in the trash. These little pieces of black, I don't think there's any reason to hang on to those. I mean, they're so small, I can't imagine what I would get out of them. I'm certainly not going to cut out black flowers. I mean, you could. I don't think I want to. And if I ever do, then I can just cut them out when I need them. So I'll toss those. So now we're back to our bin. So here we have a nice long piece of pearl paper. Put that over there. A little black with a little snail cut out. I believe that snail went on the wedding card, but I could be wrong. Here's a little piece of gray. I'll set that next to the black over here off to the side. Now here's some nice silver. I don't know what I'll do with it, but this was left over from some wedding invitations that I made, and I could cut snowflakes out of it, something like that. Small ones. I do have some small ones, so we'll hang on to that. Set that off over here. That's a whole envelope of black scraps, it says. Also from the wedding invitation, so I probably won't hang on to all those, but I'll just set it right here for now. There's a nice piece of blue cardstock. Could use that for any number of things. Let's just move everything off. I'm going to need lots of piles here, so I'm trying to make some room. Put that silver off to the side there. All right, so here's a lot more white. Some of it's thicker than others. I've got so much of this stuff. I'm just tempted to throw that whole pile away, but we'll see. These are some leftover, what, octagons? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They were flower centers when I was making paper flowers, so they're not even the same. 6, what's 6? Septagon? No, that's 9. Anyway, I can use them for something. I don't know what. Here's some more little bitty white scraps. Now these green would be good to layer Christmas scraps or even to cut small Christmas trees or something like that out of them. So I'm going to hang on to those. Now I've got this black scraps. Now I do keep my blacks, whites, and grays together, just again because it's easier for me. It's what I've gotten used to. These are a lot of little, oh, I know why I kept these. They're just a lot of little corners and stuff. I think I'll just put these back in here. I may use them, I may trash them at some point. I think I thought what I would make out of them is photo corners, but I would need to find a punch, and I do think I have one in my cart actually, now that I've reminded myself. I think I've got one in my cart that might work for these, and if that's the case, I'll just punch out a bunch of corners with those. If not, I'll end up tossing them. Oh, I was going to put those in there too though. Well, no, I don't need to do that. What I'll do is I will put them in here. And that's not going to fit, so I will slip that into the bigger one. And there we go. Oh, that's another thing I want to do. I thought about making some little bin box kind of things that I could just kind of line up here in front of me. Of course, I don't really have room there, but I'll have to figure that out. For small scraps too. I've got all these different ideas. I'm just not sure what'll work best for me, and that's why I've had them all in all these different places. And once I'm done here, I will still have them in different places because I've got a few in my bin here where my laptop sits when I'm working, and these are the ones I'm currently kind of using for the Christmas cards that I'm working on for Project Christmas Cheer, which, if you're not aware, is a couple of charitable organizations that I'm making cards for. One is the Angel Card Project, and the other one is Cards for Soldiers. And I think we're up to 307 in cards, and it's getting that time of year where Cards for Soldiers I'm going to need to box up and send out. So these I've kept handy for that reason. So this is the specialty papers. Those are some Christmas blues, and apparently the glitter ones I have put behind me on a shelf. So I still have several places where all my scraps go, but I'm getting there. So this is just some stuff I need to scan. These are some, I thought I'd do a collage. These are some just paper scraps. I thought I'd collage them on a piece of cardstock. Here is more white, bigger pieces. Here's more blues, see, more greens. I just need to combine this stuff. Christmas, and here's my glitter scraps. So let's put those in here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. I forgot to put those in the pinks and peaches. It's kind of a peach color, I think. I'll put those away. And then this last one is different printables that I've purchased and printed out, and I still need to use. This top one is from Tina with ShabbbyDabbyDooDah, and it's a whole collection, and I think they're just beautiful. And I have used a few of them, but I printed out the whole set, so I've got more to do with that. And I want to cover some boxes, so when I get around to covering boxes that I've saved, I will use them for that. So put this away. Oh, I'm glad I looked over, because here's all these other pink scraps. All right, too small. That's a nice size. Can use that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to make an iffy pile. That's iffy. I think these can go bye-bye. 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 I mean, I could definitely get some small flowers out of here, but how many small flowers do I need? So all these little pieces are going in the trash. That's iffy. Now these would actually make nice little pockets in junk journals if I covered them. I'm going to keep those. Same with those, and these are even bigger. Same with those. I'm going to keep those. Those kind of actually have a nice little curved edge. I kind of like that, so I will keep those. Some larger scraps. Maybe. No, we're going to get rid of those. You know, I thought I could make like cloud stencils with those, but I can just cut out a cloud stencil. I don't need to piece one together. I'm trying to remember as I go through this why I saved all of this stuff. It's not like I have a shortage of paper. I don't. Let's see what's going on here. So those are all the same, more or less. I'm going to pitch those. But these are bigger, so I will hang on to those because I can definitely cut out a sentiment backer on those. But these are starting to get kind of small. I mean, I could put a sentiment on it. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Not talking myself into saving it. Those are trash. I think these are iffy. I think the iffy pile's going in the trash. I have enough. You know what? So is that. I do not need to keep that little paisley piece. I can always make another one. Now, one thing you do have to be careful about with these littler pouches is if you've got any pieces sticking up, they will get caught in the closure and make it hard, if not impossible, to open. So you do want to be aware of that. I've had these for years, got them off Amazon. So they're just plastic envelopes, storage pouches, something like that. And I freed up one to use at another time. So, you know what I might use that for? I have all these strips that I saved. I don't have any rubber bands. I really wish I had some rubber bands. I did save these. The larger ones are good for sentiments, and this is a thicker cardstock, so I can also use it to layer up and build a piece up if I want something a little elevated from the background. But because it's a nice thick cardstock, I did hang on to it because I got several reasons I could use this. But I kind of want to band them together, same with some of this other stuff. So I will keep these, I will keep that out to try to remind myself that that's what I want to do with that. So we emptied out one complete bin. The other one's almost empty, and I'm going to try to use up some of that stuff today or tomorrow. And then I'll clean another section of my craft room because that really doesn't even begin to touch it. So I've been busily working and not spending enough time cleaning, and I need to do that. Plus I want to make some more background papers because I still have a lot of wrapping paper left, Christmas wrapping paper that I want to turn into, you know, cardstock, whatever. So yeah, I've got a lot of projects I need to do. I don't know if anybody's interested in seeing them, but since I'm sitting in here anyway, I think I'll go ahead and record them. And if you're just bored and you just like the sound of my voice, believe it or not, I have had a couple people tell me that, which surprises me because I can't stand it. But you know, to each his own. And that's probably one of the reasons I hate editing the videos, because I have to listen to myself. Yeah, so anyway, if you're bored, you just want some company, maybe eventually I'll get up the nerve or get more organized and go live. I have done that before, but it's been a while. And because I'm not very organized, it's quite the circus. So I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go try and make some, well, I'm going to try and finish out this other bin. That's what I'm going to do. So I've got a couple wedding cards, and a couple little Christmas cards to make, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with anything that's left over. This frame, I've got a little plastic container somewhere that's got frames and backgrounds. I just need to put that in there. Yeah, so I'm going to finish cleaning this out today. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to get some of this stuff cleaned up because I really need to free up some space. I'm just jammed in here, and I'm expecting hopefully a couple of my crafty friends later this year, and I'd like to be able for us to get in here and craft, but I got to do some cleaning. So, and you know who you are. So if it doesn't work out, ladies, though, don't feel bad, because I understand the holidays is a really rough time to travel. But if it does work out, I'm so excited to see you. Anyway, till next time, you can watch it when you can watch another boring video with me. I'm so sorry. I'm so self-deprecating. I know I shouldn't be, but it just makes me laugh. So anyway, till next time, when you can, you know, maybe you'll find something interesting, maybe not, but you know, at least you kind of see how I do things, and maybe you'll learn what not to do. There you go. What not to do when you're saving your scraps. Don't put them in 4, 5, 6 different places. All right, I'm going to end on that note. Thank you all for joining me. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio.